Winter is over and spring is upon us, yet the pothole plague continues. On the city's northeast side, one road is bad and then add construction zones to it, making drivers frustrated. Tonight, RTV6's Elena Martella takes a deeper look into how the Department of Public Works prioritizes which roads to fix first.
Taking a drive along Mud Creek Road isn't exactly what you'd call smooth sailing.
It's like the surface of the moon. It's really scary.
Crater after crater, bump after bump.
They're pretty bad. There's a couple that you could lose your whole car in.
But what's more, residents say the road was set to be repaired months ago.
It's horrible, and it should have been fixed. It was supposed to be fixed, we were told, in the fall, into the winter, and it never was.
Mud Creek Road is only one of the dozens of pothole-plastered streets in the Circle City. So how does the Department of Public Works pick and choose which roads to fix first? Well, officials with DPW tell RTV6, quote, DPW focuses its first efforts on major thoroughfares in the interest of public safety as they carry a higher volume of traffic and typically connect emergency routes. We then are able to repair secondary and residential streets, end quote. Community members say the road is already highly traveled.
We have traffic backed all the way up past our addition all the time, and it's just never fixed.
And now 82nd Street is closed for road work, so traffic is only increasing. A lot of the traffic for that construction is being detoured here.
Yes, it's going to make things much better.
Yeah.
No.
At least residents are remaining lighthearted about it. But in all seriousness, they say they just want to fix.
Fill the holes. Fix the road. Help.
From the northeast side, Elena Martella, RTV6.
And good news tonight, DPW tells RTV6 it plans to resurface Mud Creek Road this upcoming construction season.
A man is dead after a police shooting in Jackson County. Investigators say he pulled out a gun while resisting arrest during a domestic dispute. Indiana State Police have identified the man as 53-year-old Barry Rucker of Brownstown and said he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival at a hospital in nearby Seymour. State Police say 2 officers responded to a domestic situation this morning outside the Brownstown Police Department and felt Rucker needed to be taken into custody. When the officers tried to arrest him, investigators say Rucker pulled out the gun, and that's when the officers fired. The names of the officers have not been released.
Students and staff at Mount Vernon Middle School are in mourning after a beloved teacher died when he was hit by a dump truck in Carmel. Police say 35-year-old Adam Bissessi walked onto a road and was hit by the dump truck. This happened on a ramp from US 31 to 146th Street, and police haven't said why he was on the road at the time. Mr. Bissessi was a 7th grader language arts teacher at Mount Vernon Middle School. He was also the school's newspaper club advisor. Statement emailed to us by Mount Vernon Superintendent Office says that the middle school and high school broke the news to students this morning and that their crisis response teams and counselors will be on the school's campuses for the next several days.
Working for you and getting results tonight. Last week, we told you about a fire hydrant that had been leaking for months on the far east side. The consistent leaking created all kinds of problems, standing water, flooding, and muddy areas. Eventually, all the freezing and thawing created deep potholes in front of Brian Schaefer's house. Following our report, Citizens Energy crews responded today to the 4,000 block of Arquette and installed a replacement fire hydrant. Schaefer was thrilled by the fast response and thanked RTV6 for bringing the issue to the attention of the utility.
Now still ahead on RTV6, it is time to check the freezer. An RTV6 recall alert might have you rethinking some dinner plans. We'll explain what to watch out for.
Plus, any landing you can walk away from is a good one. The warning sign for one pilot before he put this plane down on a piece of property not far from a college campus here. Later on the Now Indy, hundreds of people die in bicycle crashes every year. You'll see some of the common mistakes people make and ways you can protect yourself. That's on RTV6 at 5:30.
And rain chances increase during the day tomorrow. We'll talk about generally how much we may see. I'll show you some other spots as well, enough to get the ground kind of muddy again.
Only on RTV6 News.
A shocking sight in Clinton County. A plane from Purdue University lands in the middle of a family farm. Deputies say the plane took off from Purdue Airport en route to Marion. The pilot reported engine trouble. He circled back to return to Purdue's airport, but the engine failed. The pilot made an emergency landing in the middle of a farm field near the Frankfurt airport. Both the pilot and the flight student walked away from the plane unharmed. The Federal Aviation Administration is trying to figure out why the plane's engine failed.
New developments. Indiana University officials say 6 students have now been diagnosed with mumps and an outbreak of the virus on the Bloomington campus. IU spokesman Chuck Carney says 3 more mumps cases were confirmed late last week. The first 2 cases were confirmed in February. And last month, a 3rd case was confirmed. Carney says 5 of the 6 students diagnosed with the viral infection live off campus. He says the university and health officials are offering free vaccinations to anyone who came in close contact with those with the illness. Mumps symptoms include fever, muscle aches, headache, and loss of appetite.
Now in RTV6 recall alert, we are working for you with the latest details from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It says Advanced Pierre Foods Incorporated recalled some of its frozen, ready-to-eat flame-broiled beef patties. That's because they may be contaminated with soft purple plastic. The Department of Agriculture says 2 people found the plastic in the beef patties. According to the agency, Advanced Pierre Foods shipped their patties to food service locations nationwide. The USDA said the company also distributed the product to schools. So you may want to check with your child's school to make sure they aren't using these patties. We have much more information about this recall up on the RTV6 app and on the IndyChannel.com right now. Well, this time of year, many of us go through our closets and our garage, clearing out the things we no longer need. But have you checked your freezer lately? Working for you, John Matarese shows you how you can safely keep your food.
As part of your spring cleaning, you might want to check your freezer. You could have some frozen food that's well over a year old, which brings us to a common question I receive. How long can frozen food last without spoiling? At the Whittekind house, the frozen food can be a little old.
Recipe ready.
Les Whittekind found a bird's eye bag with a December 2015 date, almost 4 years ago. The frozen salmon is from 2014, and the ground turkey is almost ready to graduate elementary school.
Almost 10 years old, huh? Yes.
Les and his wife, Mary Ellen, contacted us after seeing my report about Chris Wilson, who bought a 2-year-old frozen pizza at a dollar store.
If it had been from October of 18, I probably would have still ate it. Yeah. But 17 that's just out of hand.
But Mary Ellen tells me it was probably fine.
And we've never had a problem using it.
Mary Ellen tells me it's easy to buy something at the grocery store, stick it in the freezer, and then not realize for a couple of years that it's been back there. She just makes sure the item is not exposed to air.
If these bags of frozen foods have any kind of a hole in it, then you've got a problem.
So we checked with the USDA, which sets food safety standards. It suggests you eat hamburger before 4 months, fish 6 months, pie 8 months, chicken breast 9 months, whole turkey or steak 12 months. But in a deep freezer, the USDA says food can last decades, saying food stored at 0 degrees should last indefinitely. Only quality suffers with long-term storage. Mary Ellen says she's never had a problem.
Seems to be okay.
On caution, the USDA says frozen food for the long term should be kept in a deep freeze at 0 degrees, not your kitchen freezer where the door opens 5 times a day. So stay safe and don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese for RTV6.
And the House Judiciary Committee has approved subpoenas for Robert Mueller's full report on his Russia investigation. The committee voted to give Judiciary Chairman, New York Democrat Gerald Nadler, permission to issue subpoenas to the Justice Department for the final report and any evidence or materials prepared for Mueller's investigation. Nadler has not yet said if he'll send the subpoenas. House Democrats had given Attorney General William Barr until Tuesday to produce the full report to Congress. The Justice Department did not respond to that deadline, with Barr telling committee chairman last week that a redacted version of the full 300-page report would be released by mid-April, if not sooner.
The battle for playoff position continues tonight for the Indiana Pacers. RTV6 is in Detroit with the blue and gold as they prepare to face the Pistons. This game is very significant because the Pacers are tied with the Boston Celtics for the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The top 4 seeds have home court advantage in the first round. So if the Pacers fall to 5th, they will start on the road in the playoffs. Tonight's game against the Pistons tips off at 7 p.m. RTV6 is an official partner of the Indiana Pacers. Our Brad Brown will have a full preview of the Pacers game from Detroit coming up on the news at 6. Hey, a big honor for Purdue's men's basketball coach, Matt Painter. Today, the National Association of Basketball Coaches named Painter its Men's National Coach of the Year. Purdue is coming off its first Elite 8 appearance in 19 years after winning a share of the Big Ten regular season championship. Purdue performed way better than original expectations after losing 4 starters off the last year's team.
I'm still having flashbacks to the Purdue-Virginia game.
Are you?
That was probably,
waking up in a cold sweat.
I guess, yeah. It was probably one of the best games that I've seen ever. Yeah. That was pretty awesome. All right, Coach Painter, congrats to you. We're going to transition. No awards coming to the weather office. We're going from sunshine to clouds to showers. 3 different things happening here in short order. Clouds are in place now. The air's still pretty dry. I don't think we'll see any showers this evening. There's the veil of clouds, just a couple of holes in there. Those will fill in as we go through the evening and overnight tonight. All eyes on the thermometer. We almost made it to 60 in Indy. Some spots did make it to 60 comfortably. For example, Bedford's at 65. It's 3 degrees cooler in Bloomington. Everyone, though, experiencing average temperatures for this time of the year. This is what it should feel like. Nothing stays kind of level playing field for very long. We'll go well above average as we move into the weekend. That's good timing. Warmer temperatures in the weekend. Say hello to Kiwi. Any day that you cast a shadow is a good day, and it means 3 more days until we see temperatures in the 70s when Kiwi sees a shadow. Thanks to Pamela Mounts for sharing the picture. If you're taking the dog for a walk this evening, it will be cloudy. Temperatures stuck in the 50s, not moving much. Eventually, we'll be in the 40s, but that's a warmer start tomorrow. 46 in Indianapolis. Clouds around. Some isolated morning showers. Shouldn't be very heavy or widespread. Steadier rain, more widespread, comes in late in the day. It's really most likely as we get to Thursday night into Friday morning. Temperature should manage the low 60s. Here's your shower activity in the eastern half of the state first thing in the morning. Some isolated showers in the afternoon. The widespread area, 7 to 11. Watch that move from west to east and cover the central portion of the state. That will be around till early Friday morning. Temperatures from north to south, the upper 50s to low to mid 60s as you get to Bedford, Seymour, and Bloomington. Anywhere in the metro area, a couple degrees different than today, warmer than today, despite the fact that we'll have the clouds and showers. This is what I mean by overnight tomorrow night into the morning on Friday. Rain chances go way up, and temperatures, they'll be even warmer overnight, staying in the 50s. Friday morning showers, there they are. By the time we get to 1 o'clock, they've all but moved on. We'll be left with cloud cover. Most areas will see ½ an inch of rain or less through this next round of rain. As you look at the forecast, Friday will bounce back in the afternoon to 64. 70 Saturday, the best day of the weekend, the first half of the weekend, because we're dry Saturday. Rain chances about 60% on the Sunday. 72 degrees, maybe a rumble of thunder to go with some rain as well. And we cool down after that. But peak temperatures in the weekend at the same time.
Live it up on that Saturday, right?
Very nice.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Hey, take a look at this. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. All the jellyfish and all the people who have rushed to see one spot to see them there. The reason behind this incredible sight. That's next.
$1 each. Rallies and Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal.
Welcome back to the news at 5 on RTV6. Jellyfish, and I mean thousands of them, taking over a Southern California harbor.
You got to check this out. All those jellyfish are in the Channel Islands Harbor in Oxnard, California. That's just a little north of Los Angeles. And for many, this is a surprising sight they have never seen before.
Jellyfish is unusual for this area. Usually we get stingrays, a few nurse sharks, and seals. But this is the first time I've seen jellyfish.
Well, Sean Anderson, an ecologist at Cal State Channel Islands, says that the jellyfish sightings aren't as rare as that. This time, winds are pushing the sea creatures into coves, which is making them more visible to the eye. The sheer numbers are also bringing out a crowd of people. And the good news is that they do not sting.
I used to surf at a beach close to this, and there would always be tons of jellyfish, and I wish they didn't sting.
Oh, so you've been there.
We needed those.
You felt that pain, right? All new at 6 p.m. here. The city of Lawrence is working to revitalize and restore crime-plagued areas. Our Stephanie Wade reveals the upcoming projects set to enhance the city.
But first on the Now Indy, a local firefighter on vacation in Florida becomes a hero. How his family's decision to sit poolside instead of go to the beach saved a life. You're watching RTV6.
916-1051.
Topping our lineup here on the Now, phone companies have been slowly taking action on robocalls, but today we're getting into why they may be forced to get new technology faster to cut down on those annoying calls. And drama happening today in the college admissions scandal. Today we sit down with a college admissions insider who explains how far parents are going to get their kids into prestigious schools. And a lot of companies out there making promises on the benefits of CBD. But today here on The Now, we're going to be breaking down what it can really be used for.
Thanks, Chris. This is The Now Indy on our TV6. I'm Amanda Starantino. A local firefighter on vacation with his family becomes a hero on the last day of spring break, saving a woman's life while sitting poolside. Bargersville firefighter David Porter with his family at a pool in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's when his daughter ran up to him and told him that a person was at the bottom of the pool. That's when Porter's training as a firefighter kicked in.
And so at that time, I jumped up, got all the stuff out of my pockets, and walked to the side of the pool, and somebody had already went down to get the lady. And then so I went to the side of the pool and pulled her out, and she was not breathing, no pulse. So we started CPR. There was a lot of people there that wanted to help, but not a lot of people knew what to do. Started CPR, went through 2.5, 3 rounds of CPR, and got a pulse back and started breathing.
And get this, the weather was bad that day on the beach in St. Petersburg, so Porter and his family moved to the pool. That move may have saved a life. The woman is expected to recover. David Porter is back in Bargersville, ready to save more lives. And the warmer weather moving in means more cyclists will be out on the trails and the roads. In 2016, nearly 850 cyclists were killed in traffic crashes across the country. That's the most recent data from the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. Indianapolis has improved its bike friendliness in recent years, but working for you, our Alyssa Donovan finds there are some additional precautions you need to take to stay safe.
This bike is getting a deluxe tune-up today, a crucial step for a cyclist who wants a safe and dependable ride.
We clean the bike thoroughly, we true both the wheels, we adjust the wheel hubs.
It's one of about 150 bikes waiting at Bicycle Garage Indy for a spring checkup.
Braking's going to be better, that's the main thing. It does make a big difference in terms of safety, just how well put together the bike is and well adjusted it is.
Once it's adjusted, there's some add-ons the pros recommend. First, a helmet.
You want to be able to protect your head.
This one is brand new and has wave cell technology. It's designed to better protect against concussion and traumatic brain injury.
It's a liner that's inside the helmet that will help collapse it and help protect your brain.
They also say to equip your bike with daytime running lights.
When you're talking about wanting motorists to give you plenty of space when they're passing you, they need to see you in time to be able to do that.
And when riding at dusk or when it's dark, be sure to wear reflective clothing. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Thanks, Alyssa. New this year, Bicycle Garage Indy has partnered with Bike Indianapolis to offer classes for drivers where you can learn more about avoiding cyclists on the roads and where to keep an eye out for riders. Right now, it's open to people who drive for a living like fleet drivers and bus drivers, but eventually it will be open to the rest of the public. Some good info there, Kyle.
Yeah, and Amanda, a great day to head out there on some of the trails and take a bike ride. We started off the day with lots of sunshine, but you can see the view around central Indiana. The clouds have started to roll in here, but we are still dry. Temperatures right about where we should be for this time of year. 57 in Indy, just missed the 60-degree mark, but you've made it to 62 in Bloomington. There you can see those clouds starting to stream in. As we look back to the west, there's the area of rain, but it's really not going to be until tomorrow that we start to get into some showers. So if you're heading out this evening, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures, they're still comfortable right on through 11 o'clock. We're in the 50s, but several rain chances ahead. We'll talk about that. A mild stretch of days we put together, including some 70s for the weekend. Chris?
Today, investigators say the pilots on the Ethiopian Airlines flight that crashed did follow emergency procedures that were provided by Boeing. That's according to sources who talked to the Wall Street Journal. Now, even though those pilots, they followed the appropriate steps, they weren't able to regain control of the Boeing 737 MAX 8. And as we told you before, just 6 months before this deadly crash, the same type of plane, that time flown by Lion Air, crashed in Indonesia. Now, the FDA is looking into whether e-cigarettes can lead to seizures. Now, this comes after they have reports of young people having seizures after vaping. Only a few people had a history of seizures. Nicotine poisoning, it can cause seizures, and e-cig liquids, they contain high concentrations of nicotine. But the FDA says it is just too early to say if vaping is causing these seizures. All right, now we're going to take a look into an issue that is becoming more common and associated with food recalls. And it's pieces of plastic or metal actually falling into the meat. Now, the most recent one is large cases of frozen cooked beef patties. Now, the meat may have pieces of soft purple plastic in it. What you're taking a look at here is the label on the packages. It was made by Advanced Pierre Foods. Now, food service companies, though, they're the primary buyers of this, so it isn't likely you would have this in your freezer. But it does bring up a point that the number of foreign objects finding their way into foods is on the rise. More than 20 recalls a year recently. Food companies using more automation in meat processing is a reason. The rubber, metal, or plastic, they usually come from machines. Now, while this is a problem, it is important to note that it's still less common than recalls for contamination issues like, say, salmonella. The USDA recently updated guidelines giving companies just a day to report complaints of people finding things in their food. All right, let's get to the Now News feed. Security could soon be a lot smoother when you fly because the TSA is sending new 3D scanners nationwide. Now, when you go through the scanner, you might not have to take out a laptop or liquids from your carry-on bag, so hopefully pick up the speed there as well. Well, threats of closing the border, they're shooting up the price of avocados, just the threats. Some avocados from Mexico went up 34% just yesterday, which is the biggest one-day jump in a decade. Well, people just are going nuts about the upcoming Avengers movie. It's not going to be out for a couple of weeks, but pre-sale sites yesterday crashed with people rushing to get tickets online. Some tickets actually being sold on eBay for hundreds of dollars. Important to note that we didn't find really anybody putting in bids for a price that's. All right, let's get back to our lineup. And phone companies have been slowly taking action on robocalls. Today, we're getting into why they may be forced to get new technology faster to cut down on those annoying calls.
You don't call.
You don't save.
Robocall relief could be coming sooner than we thought, and Annie Taylor is here with why phone companies might be forced to implement new technology sooner rather than later.
They've already agreed to it, but a new Senate bill would put an actual timeline on companies to start using the technology to crack down on scammers. It's called Stir Shaken. It allows the phone companies to verify that the number that's calling you is a real phone number and isn't spoofing. And you might get something like a check mark on your display if the call is legitimate. And if it's not, well, you might not even get the call at all. And thing is, the carriers on both ends have to use the technology in order for this to work. The new Senate bill would require the big four carriers, you know them, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and Sprint, to implement it within 18 months. Now, the bill would also give the FCC more leeway to issue fines against offenders. It would remove the current one-year limit the agency has to conduct an investigation and take action. It also removes the requirement that the FCC must issue a warning before it can issue a fine. Still, the Justice Department would have to collect the fines. And according to the Wall Street Journal, Telephone Consumer Protection Act violators have been fined about $208 million since 2015. But so far, less than $7,000 has been collected.
All right, Annie, thank you. We got more to get to in our lineup and drama happening today in the college admissions scandal. And today we're sitting down with a college admissions insider who explains just how far parents are going to get their kids into prestigious schools.
Only on RTV6 News.
Today, actresses Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman appeared in federal court in Boston. All of this part of that big college admissions scandal. You're taking a look at Huffman entering court this morning. Now, they are accused of paying their kids' way into elite schools. And today, we're taking a look at the admissions process from many sides, including a prison consultant preparing some of the parents involved in the scandal for the worst. But first, I went to New England to talk to an admissions insider. Now, we came here to Dartmouth College in New Hampshire, and this is a school that is not part of the admissions scandal. But we came here to talk to someone who was once an admissions officer at one of the most exclusive schools in America. And she shared some secrets about how the wealthy can get an edge in a system many people feel is rigged against them.
Lied, cheated, and covered up their crimes in an international college admissions bribery and money laundering scam.
I think the surprise was the depth and depravity of what
the college consultant was doing, because he was rigging every aspect of the process. And what it showed is that people are desperate to get their kids into top colleges.
Today, former Dartmouth admissions officer Dr. Michelle Hernandez-Bayless